So, good morning or good night, depending on where you are in the world, and welcome to another interview of the Shield Dude on a Couch. I'm your host, Hector, and today I have the singer and guitar player for Motherless. They're a band from Chicago, so I have Stavros here with me, and we're here to talk about the album that's coming out September 12th, Do You Feel Safe? So, Stavros, how are you?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm good. You seem pretty chill and relaxed.
I'm pretty chill. I'm also on a couch.
Yeah, yeah, I like the point. You have like the
Yeah,
points.
yeah, very, very, very chill.
Very chill. So this is a band that has members from other bands from Chicago, like we were discussing offline. So tell us a little bit about how you guys got together.
So me and the bass player Alex are both in the Atlas Moth. Um, we had put out a record in 2018 called Coma Noir, and we did a bunch of touring behind that. And we got off tour. We were touring with Paradise Lost and Solstifier actually in 2018, and we got off tour and we were writing a record, and the pandemic happened. And the pandemic happened and lockdown and all that stuff, and we wound up taking a hiatus. All of us were working in the service industry. I had opened a restaurant. Alex was like the head chef at the restaurant, and um, another band member of ours and his wife had opened up a bar. So we were all kind of like hit pretty hard with the lockdown, you know. So we were it was kind of a hard time to really focus on playing music or trying to write a record, especially because we didn't know when anything was going to kind of return to normal at the time in 2020, 2021. So we had kind of taken a step back a little bit, and we had been touring straight at that point for, 11, 12 years, So we had kind of, stepped back a little bit. And in the interim, one of those band members kind of disappeared on us. And to this day, we actually haven't heard from him. Um, and in the interim, we were just kind of like, what are we going to do? And me and Alex went and saw Iron Maiden here in Chicago, and we got a little drunk, and afterwards we were like, maybe we should just start another band in the meantime. And a couple of the other guys from the Atlas Month had started another project, and we were just like, yeah, maybe me and you should just start something else, just in the interim, while we wait for the Atlas Month to get back to business. And literally the next night, I ran into Gary, the drummer of Motherless, and he asked me what was up. And before I could even tell him what was up with the Atlas Month, he's like, "We should start a band." And I was like, "Yeah, just so happens I was talking with Alex about that last night. I'm like, we should get another guitar player." And he goes, "Oh, we should have Anthony from Without Ways do it." And
Nice.
like, I wrote a song, and 3 weeks later we started a band. It was really, really, really simple, really easy. So
That's awesome.
yeah,
Maybe you should put an Unsolved Mysteries episode to see where.
yeah, yeah. I mean, it's crazy. We haven't even heard from him at all. We've the Atlas Moth just did a tour in June of this year. So we've been back writing, and we're trying to do a record next year, record a record next year, write a record. So yeah, I don't know. We replaced him at this point. So, but yeah, we have no idea. Hopefully he's all right. But we don't even know what happened. It was one of those things where we were like, well, I guess we should replace him because he's gone.
Well,
We have no idea where he is. So it's a
yeah, when that happens at a 9 to 5 job, that means that you left. You there's a term for that. It's
yeah, abandoning your position, right? Like something like that, right?
like quietly, like you're like quietly resigning.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, it's a bummer. Like, I mean, we wrote four really. I'm very proud of records we did with Atlas Moth. And I'm looking forward to doing more. That band is still very active. So, yeah,
So
we're playing a show here next month. So, I have no idea, but
so musically, how does Motherless differ from the Atlas Moth?
I always say so. We literally when I started this band, Motherless, I was like, if I'm Lemmy, then Atlas Moth, and like, here's the thing too, right? Is that Atlas Moth and Without Waves are both very progressive and very technical and very progressive, arty, whatever you want to say. And I said we should treat Without Waves and Atlas Moth as if that's Hawkwind, right? and we're all Lemmy, and that's our Hawkwind, and this is our Motorhead. So
Okay.
that was literally the idea. And I think that particularly as the vocalist in both of those bands, like that, Atlas Moth is I'm the vocalist in Atlas Moth, not Without Waves. For Atlas Moth, it's hopeful, and it's I guess a little bit more tragic sounding, whereas Motherless is very angry and very pessimistic. It's more of like a negative vibe. It's more of an angry aggressiveness. Like it's supposed to be more simple and straightforward with less like introspection, I guess, if you will. It's supposed to be more kind of punk rock, if you will. You know.
Yeah, it's more aggressive to the point. Did you enjoy going that route with Motherless, like more aggressive?
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I think the state of the world right now, I think that being aggressive is easy, right? I don't think there's much hopeful in the world right now. I think the world is, you know, I wake up every day and I'm pretty angry, so it's there's not much hope in my eyes right now. So it was really easy, very cathartic, besides just the world, like even in my own personal life, there was a lot of strife, over the pandemic. And coming out of the pandemic even to today, it hasn't been very fun. So it has been very, very cathartic and easy to be angry and aggressive. you know
yeah, yeah. It's a good way to put it. So, when you were picking a name for this, is there a story behind the name Motherless?
so we went through a bunch of names, and naming a band in this day and age is so hard, like, and I always say, like, the running joke for any band that I've started throughout the years, like, or I've been a part of or whatever, is like, it's always like, well, Black Sabbath and Metallica are already taken. So Slayer's already a band. You're already losing, like the three best band names of all time are already gone, so but we went through a lot, and like there's always something, like I had come up with a name called Lost Coffins, was one. And I remember someone be like, that sounds like we should be a rockabilly band. I was like, oh, never mind.
Or
It
like
sounds
a
like,
goth band? Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Like then you start thinking about things, and then it's like, well, if we name our band that, it rhymes with this. That sounds terrible, or like, oh, it sounds like we should be like, it's awful. So, all of us are like really big Sopranos fans, and Junior Soprano on that show calls a lot of people motherless fucks. And I don't know, we just said it, and it was like, motherless sounds really, really. Uh, it sounds confrontational.
Yeah.
It sounds questionable. It sounds really weird. How can you possibly be motherless? So, and it is,
Because fatherless is more easy to comprehend.
absolutely. I mean, even then, you can't be either, really, right? You have to have both, right? But motherless is definitely a little bit
Unless it's
more.
artificial insemination, but
Okay, good point. Yeah,
sperm had to come from somewhere.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. So motherless was definitely something that we were like, we love the Sopranos, and it was definitely a reference from that. So, um, and like I said, it sounds dark. It sounds evil, very questionable, very thought provoking, if you will. And I think nowadays, in the days of like hardcore bands, are now like all about like naming their band one word without much thought. I mean, like, I love the band, but like Drain is like, doesn't sound, it's not that thought provoking to me. So even though I love the band to death, or like Gel is another one. I was like, okay, like that doesn't really do it for me. So like I
I
try to put
think
a little bit of thought in
I
all of
think
that.
gel is not gelling anymore.
Yeah, yeah. See, I just don't. I don't really. It doesn't really do anything for me. I've come from a time where like I think that the band name is you only get one first impression, right? And I think that like a band name is your first impression.
Like, for example, in punk, Dead Kennedys.
Yo, that name sticks with you. Like
That's a name that sticks with you. Yeah.
the Black
Yeah.
Flag, right? Like stuff like that, like Black Sabbath, like Slayer. It says something to you, like. So I think it matters, and also like I like the idea of something that like nowadays, as silly as it sounds, you got to be able to like stick out when you Google something.
That is true.
Like I remember a few years back, Atlas Month. I don't know, like if you read Decibel magazine, um, like they have like those little things in the front where they give a guy 5 songs to listen to without like any they don't give the band's names or whatever. He just says what you think about it. And it was from a band. I wish I could remember what band he was from. I can't remember at the time, but it was like a one-word band. And I tried to Google his band and I couldn't find it because it was just like, believe or something like that. It's like try
Oh,
Googling. It's impossible. You know what I mean? Like so if you can't put the band's name plus the word band in there and find it easily, you're making a mistake. In this day and age, there's a billion bands. If you can't stick out by Googling your band name plus the word band, you're kind of making a mistake. You got to make people be able to find your music easily. So if you type in Motherless and band, it's pretty easy to find us at least. So there's that,
yeah.
Yeah.
It's all about finding quickly the band. But that's true. If you have like because there's a lot of band. I'm trying to think of a name that more than one band has.
Well, I mean, like the color black, right? I mean, like in general, right? Or like, I mean, there's so many things, like
For example, at the beginning, Ghost, they had to change their name to Ghost BC.
right, absolutely. Or like Bison. My buddies in Bison, BC, they turned into, right? Like same thing, right? Like it's tough, and you want to be able to stick out. You want to make sure that you're not being confused with somebody else. So,
But for example, if you Google Alice in Chains, you're going to get Alice in Chains,
every time.
or maybe a kinky sex shop. I don't know.
Yeah, but you're getting you're gonna know the difference between the kinky sex shop and the rock band. You know what I
You're,
mean? Like, so there's that.
yeah, but yeah, no, but yeah, Drain, like you could get like something about like a plumbers and stuff like that.
Exactly. Yeah, and you don't know. Like, I mean, like, I would even go as far as to say there's certain parts in plumbing that are called bands, right? So you put drain band. I don't even know if you're coming up with drain the band, So,
And,
I mean, they're big enough at least at this point where I'm sure they're fine,
but
But like, it's not about where they're got now; it's about where they started, right? So you never know. Something like that could hinder you. So I always am trying to be, at least mindful of that kind of stuff.
yeah, but if they Google you, put motherless and bad, because if you just put motherless, the cell phone's gonna be like, "Are you okay?"
Yeah, there is some questionable stuff out there under Motherless, which we did find out later, but it was a Sopranos reference, just for the record. Like
It's good to know because maybe it's such. The Sopranos has been over a long time now,
it
so
has, and but I mean, in my opinion, in my humble opinion, I think it's like the second greatest TV show of all time. You know, maybe third. It's like Breaking Bad, Sopranos, Seinfeld, somewhere in that area.
the album. Let's talk about the artwork of the album, which is pretty cool.
Yeah,
And I
absolutely.
have the name of the artist who did the artwork. So here's the artwork. So, do you feel safe? So I know Rosario. I don't know how to say her last name.
It's him, Shemeka.
Shimeka.
Yeah.
Okay. So Rosario Shimeka did the artwork. So tell me a little bit about what the band wanted with this artwork.
Well, to be completely honest with you, um, so Rosario uh, has been my best friend since the first day of kindergarten. We met literally 37 years ago. So
Wow.
I literally, yeah, I actually left it up to him completely. He's one of the only people I trust in the entire world. He's been my best friend for over 3 decades, going on 4 decades. So I was like, hey man, do you want to just do this artwork for me? I wasn't quite sure what I was going for. I had an idea that was requiring a little bit more effort and scheduling. And truth be told, I say this a lot to a lot of people. The hardest thing in the music business is like getting the hardest thing about being in a band is getting the other guys in the room at the same time. It's like the most difficult thing. So had this idea that involved a photographer, a model, and some not necessarily special effects, but definitely some makeup and the such. And it was just like turned out to be a headache as far as scheduling goes, and it kept getting pushed back and pushed back and pushed back and pushed back, and it was turning out to be a nightmare. So I wound up just being like, you know what, Rosario, go for it. And he just went with it. And honestly, I think he captured it perfectly. I was like, listen to the record. You're my best friend. Just go for it. He knows me better than I know myself. So he came up with it completely on his own. And I think he kind of nailed it. It was all kind of on his own head, what he thought of the record. And I think he captured the vibe of it perfectly.
Yeah, it looks like the Zodiac serial killer.
Yeah,
Let's say.
exactly. There's like a little bit like somewhere between serial killer and BDSM, and like I said, I think the entire band is supposed to be a little bit confrontational and a little bit like a question, making you question what you feel of it. You know what I mean? Like, I hate to put too much of my own spin on things. I kind of like to let people figure it out for their own. And kind of see what you take out of it.
Yeah, and everyone can ask the questions if like, do they feel safe in this damn age?
Yeah,
Uh,
exactly.
I, I don't know. We're kind of living in the Handmaid's Tale.
Yeah, I don't feel safe. That's like the whole question. I mean, like, do you feel safe? I think so many people nowadays are, they're like, oh, this is a safe space. This is a safe space. This is a safe. Those four walls that you're creating a safe space of are still in this
Yeah.
very, very unstable, unsafe world.
Yeah.
So
There's
how
no,
safe are you? Like,
I don't think there's any safe space now because everywhere you go, there's cell phones, there's drones. You
mhm.
could be a peaceful CEO taking your mistress to see Coldplay.
Exactly, exactly.
And then everyone knows that
Yeah,
you're a Coldplay fan.
exactly. Yeah, now everyone knows you're a Coldplay fan. Exactly. Yeah, that's the whole thing, man. Is I really don't. I think everyone is in this like overly trying to create safe spaces because there's
Yeah.
nothing safe. There's
Did you
nothing.
see did you see the video of the dude last week who was at a Korn concert walking off?
Yes, yes, I did.
Like
There's nothing. If a
who in their
corn
right
concert.
mind thinks that that is the place to do that?
I mean, if a corn concert isn't sacred, what is anymore? Like
I don't know. I've listened to Korn many times, and they don't elicit that in me.
not
Like,
no, not for me either. No, not for me.
if that would have been a Deftones concert, then I would
even,
understand better.
even then, I probably would have waited for after. But
Yeah, I know.
that's
I know.
just me. Call me crazy. You know.
It's weird that someone would do that
I mean,
at a
that's
concert.
exactly it though. Like I said, is there a safe space? I don't think there is anymore. Like I
Yeah,
don't know
yeah.
if there ever was. I think that's like an illusion of safety. There's no safe space. There's nothing out there.
No, no.
And
It's like
I also think it's a little silly for people to think that there are safe spaces. You know what I mean? I think that's a little bit like that's like unrealistic to believe that. And I think that like people are setting themselves up for a little bit of a rude awakening when you start to realize that you need to be more prepared for unsafe spaces. And if you start thinking that there are safe spaces, then like that's not good because then you're ill prepared for when bad things happen.
yeah.
Like
This is not like
I was brought up in the '80s. I had to walk home alone. You know,
oh yeah,
like I was born in '83, so like I grew up with still some of the '80s around, and then definitely through the '90s. And my parents both worked. I was home alone a lot. I was I was a kid that was like Saturday afternoon, get the hell out of the house and don't come back until the streetlights are on. So like, like I had to fend for myself a lot. And, I watched I have two nephews and a niece, and I watched them get raised by my brother and his wife. And they were very overly protective. And I was like, maybe those kids should go break their arm. Maybe those kids should go get into a fist fight. Maybe those kids should go and, like get bullied or something. Cause like, I don't know, man. Like, it's gonna happen in real life. Real life isn't safe. Real life is dangerous. Like,
yeah. You can't protect them with a bubble for the
no,
rest of their life.
no, 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 not at all. And like, we grew up in Chicago. Like, place isn't safe. Like
Don't say that, man. They'll send the troops.
yeah, those are the troops. I've already heard that's already been pulled off or called off.
They're gonna send the troops everywhere.
Yeah. Hey, I'm first generation, so apparently I'm not even safe anymore. So there you go. Who knows?
Yeah, it's crazy, man. So yeah, I agree. It's a title like makes you like what is safety
Yeah.
nowadays? Like Like it makes you think of that. Do you ever see that show, 1,000 Ways to Die? I love
Yeah,
the intro where it says like every time you go out, you face 1,000 ways to die.
it's true. I mean, like I often think about it like just being in a car. I have a lot of, obviously we all have friends that have drank and drove, and I've had a couple beers and driven. And like people are like, oh, I'm fine to drive, and I've always been like, it's not about necessarily you. We have to worry about.
Yeah,
Not everybody else. Like I just recently found out about how poisonous snails are. And that's like a new fear of mine, where it's like snails can kill you. Like
I would be really pissed if a snail killed me.
the worst way to go out. One of the worst. I mean, I can think of a few ways to go
Like
out.
like if like an animal, let it be like a menacing animal,
Yeah, like a
but
polar
a
bear.
snail,
Yeah,
like
snail I'd be pretty upset about, like
yeah.
yeah, that'd be
Yeah.
disappointing for sure. I'd like a grizzly bear to take me out or something like that.
Well, no, that's extreme too.
Well, I'd like to be known as the guy that like got taken out by a grizzly at least, like
Yeah,
something formidable, like
yeah. You never know, but yeah, it's something like that show. Like on that show, the most funny things were like the most like ridiculous deaths. Like I remember there was one that this guy was peeing and he started peeing in a fence, but he didn't know the fence was electric.
yes, yeah.
So when the urine touched the the fence, the electricity went up to him, and I'm
The
like,
the
he
joke here
died.
is the third rail of the train here.
Oh
That's
yeah,
that's taking a lot of people out. Why you would be pissing on the trains?
I have no idea.
You
I have no
know?
idea why you would be pacing on a train. But I've done a few things in my life that I could have died,
Yeah,
like
oh, absolutely,
skydiving.
sure. Yeah, I
uh,
tend to try to keep myself out of situations. I don't go swimming into the oceans, right? Because I can't breathe underwater.
oh, I'm from an island. I've scuba dived, so I,
Terrifying.
I, I'm every day. I'm like facing 1,000 ways to die.
Yeah, see, I sit there and I look at that. And I'm from Chicago. I'm landlocked. The
Yeah,
biggest animal we have here is a deer. It's pretty chill. Like,
yeah,
I got to worry about gang violence, and that even then, it's not even more near me. So,
yeah. But yeah, if a deer killed you, that would be like suck too. But you you never know. Like remember that guy from Australia, the crocodile guy,
oh
that
yeah,
when he
the
died,
crocodile hunter.
I thought probably a crocodile ate him, and it was like a manta ray. And I'm like a
Yeah,
manta ray. I'm like, but yeah.
being from Australia though, you're basically facing death at all times.
Oh,
Everything.
I've talked to bands in Australia, and I have a YouTuber friend there, and I always think, how do you guys stay alive?
I have no idea. My niece is from South Africa, and I talk to her about it all the time. She's like, "Oh yeah, you wake up and there's like elephants or some shit, or I don't even know." I'm like, "What the fuck are you talking about? Like, you gotta be
you,
fucking crazy,
you
how
never
how does
know.
anybody survive in these countries?"
Yeah. So Stavros, I know you did produce a lot of the vocals on this record. How was that?
Yeah, so like we kind of got like a shoestring budget for the record, and my really good buddy, my one of my best friends in the world, Sanford Parker, who's produced Yob, I Hate God. I mean, the list goes on. I could give him accolades forever. I don't need to. He agreed to do it, but we were on a real tight schedule. And he was like, man, you can just record the vocals. It's 2020. Well, we recorded last year. So he goes, it's 2024. You can handle it. And he gave me a microphone that he was going to use to record the record. And he was like, you have a computer? And I'm like, I do. I have about as much recording knowledge as some guy that can hit spacebar on a laptop. So I went and I figured it out. I mean, I'm no slouch. I guess I could say I did go to college for it for a couple of years before I realized it wasn't for me, and I switched majors to graphic arts. But yeah, I took the mic home, and I honestly I literally probably recorded more vocals for this record than I ever had before. I literally went recorded two songs, went home, went back the next day, re-recorded those two, recorded two more, went home the next day, third day, I went back in, recorded all those four again, recorded two more, went back home the next day, went back, re-recorded all six of those, and then did another one, and then I just kept doing that until the last day. I think I recorded like 5, and then I went back one last day and redid like 3 of them. And then I did all of Anthony's as an engineer. Yeah, no, I like really liked it though. I kind of liked being alone. I kind of liked running it myself. It would have been nice to have someone um, to be able to hit stop or point a finger at me or something like that. But it was kind of nice to have it all up to me. I always feel like a little bit like, oh, I would like to do that again, but I don't want to waste anybody's time. I don't know why I feel that way after all these years. Like I should be a little bit more aware of the fact that a producer's there to help me get the best out of myself. But like, I still can't get over it. I feel like I'm being bothersome. I'm too polite sometimes, I guess. But it was nice. I liked the idea of just locking myself in a room and beating myself up. It was cool. And I got my producer credit. So
You got your producer credit.
I told Sanford, I was like, I'm sorry, dude, I'm gonna take the producer credit on this one. So
Yeah. So, what are some of the themes that you cover on this record? Because it seems like it's a very pissed off, dark record.
yeah, well, like I went through like the end of a 12-year relationship. Um, a lot of the things happened. I've kind of felt like coming out of the pandemic and the lockdown. I kind of felt like a little bit of a loss of identity. I mean, like pretty much for the decade and a half before that, all I did was tour and play music. I was on the road with the Atlas Moth at some points, shit, 8, 9 months out of the year. That's all I did. All I did was play music, and write and record and tour, write and record and tour. And all of a sudden, it kind of felt like music had kind of like left me behind. Like there was nothing there. Like my band wasn't rehearsing. Like it felt like, I mean, granted, I felt like friends had kind of left, and obviously those friends were probably more like people that wanted something from me, I guess, but there was a lot of things, abandonment, loss of identity, deception, um, endings of relationships, but then also like a lot of like not giving up kind of stuff. There was definitely like, I kind of think I kind of got back to like old hardcore kid roots of myself, like growing up in the late 90s, being in high school, getting into like stuff like, Hatebreed and Vision of Disorder and Will Haven and like that hardcore aesthetic of like never give up and never get in and kind of keep fighting, which is something I've always prided myself on, of like always picking myself up and dusting myself off and not letting um, you know, anything get the best of me, and there's also like some good stuff of like, new relationships and just, pushing forward and not giving up, so there's like darkness as far as like the disillusion, deception, and all that. But also, like I said, picking yourself back up and not giving up, not letting life win. You know, if you're gonna get fucked over, you got to fuck back. That's more or less.
Yeah.
And I think that like music has always given me something to keep going. Music has saved my life countless of times over the years. So I always try to I always like to think that I'm trying to give back to music. Music has been so important to me. So if I can ever give back, I try to, and it's very cathartic for me to even just say it and put it out there in my lyrics. So if anybody can ever listen to one of my songs and get something out of it, then like my job is done.
Yeah, and for this, it's hard to pick a single, but you pick "Weaponize." What's the name of the song? "Weaponize."
That's like good. Yeah.
Yeah. What was about that track that you picked that one as the lead single?
Well, it was really that song to us was just like a really like it's just a really fun one for us to play. Number one, it's been around. We always play it. We like just it to me. It's like kind of almost like a mission statement. There's like a lot into it. It's really heartfelt. I think it has a good groove, a good breakdown too. Truthfully, our lead single is Reptile Dysfunction. That video actually comes out September 9th. I don't know when this podcast drops, but we have a video for that song coming out, which like I said, it's kind of hard. Honestly, we have a hard time picking the singles because like honestly, every song is kind of has a pretty strong chorus. Like we
You
kind
you
of
know what? This video is coming out on the day that that music video is coming out.
well, there you go. So we have a lot of dropping on that day. We're also announcing a pretty big Chicago show that day as well. So I guess all will be
Okay,
revealed on the 9th,
on the 9th. So if
or
you're watching
today,
this now,
like,
everything has been revealed.
yeah, yeah. So, yeah, like it was really hard. Like I said, we all of us are really feel very strongly about this record. I think that we all are really proud of it, and like we didn't try to write a bunch of hits or anything. Obviously, it's a really screamy underground metal record, but I love a hook, man. I really
Yeah.
do. I feel as though like even with Atlas Moth, like one thing that we always heard was like, oh, you guys are like a doom band, but you guys write songs. And like I am a big fan of songs. Like I
Mhm.
hate it when I don't know when I hear bands and I'm like, but where's the chorus? Like I love a good hook, man, I can't
Yeah,
help
but
it. Like,
I don't see you going to a FM station that plays yacht rock and we're like, can
no,
you play? Can you play?
no.
Do you feel safe?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But like my biggest influences are always, especially vocally, are soul musicians. Like I just went and saw Al Green like 2 months ago, and it was like a life changing experience. Like he's one of my all time favorite singers. Like I love like Marvin Gaye and Lee Moses and like Sly and the Family Stone. Those are like my biggest vocal influences. Oddly enough, like I tend to write all my lyrics on kick and snare, which is like kind of an old soul, funk, even hip hop kind of thing. So like all that kind of stuff and writing like a catchy kind of like melody, or if you will, it's really important to me. It's kind of like what I like about music. I like having something that's stuck in my head, like, and so like obviously like you want something to be stuck in someone else's head too. I don't. It's never on purpose. It's just what I like about music.
Yeah, like music can mean, you don't have to listen just to angry music. So the album is out the September 12th on Prosthetic Records.
Yes.
I'll post the link for people who want to pre-order vinyl, CDs,
Yeah, it's gonna be on our Bandcamp is where you can order it.
and you check out the band's Bandcamp. So after the album's out, are you guys gonna be playing some shows?
Yeah, yeah, we have a lot of stuff planned right now. A lot of like stuff around town and around here. We're kind of waiting until the next year to really hit the road. It's gonna be kind of like, but we're gonna be out there. We're gonna be around. So yeah, we will be playing it out. That's for fucking sure. But
Nice.
I
So
I I pretty much write and record records so I can hit the road. I love touring. I love playing live. So that's definitely on the docket for sure. And like we all are parts of other bands, and we're all parts of bigger bands than this, in all honesty. I know November's Doom just played a gigantic prog fest in Atlanta that looked huge, and our drummer's in that band. But I mean, we all love this band. This band is like something really special to us. So I know that we're planning on playing out a lot. So you'll catch us.
yeah, that's good that everyone has their own thing where you can get together and do this type of like this more underground type of project with Motherless. So Stavros, I want to thank you for taking some time of your day to chat with me.
Absolutely.
So before I let you go, anything you like to say to the fans before we go?
I hope that everyone that enjoys our other bands enjoys this record. It's definitely a bit different, but like I said, in these trying times, I think it's a necessary evil. I think it's a really cool record that I'm really proud of, and I hope you guys all enjoy it as well. And thank you
Nice.
for chatting with me and having me on.
Yeah. So Couchers, Motherless, do you feel safe? I almost wanted to say that like in a Bane voice, but he said in the movie, "Do you feel in charge?
Do you feel safe?
Do you feel
You
safe?"
shouldn't. It's a lovely
I
voice.
always thought that he was channeling Sean Connery in that role.
I actually love the Bane boys. I think that I,
But
I'm a Bane apologist. That's just me, though.
but don't you think he was channeling Sean Connery?
A
He's like
bit, yeah,
he's
a
like
bit.
he's like,
There
yes,
was
I'm going to slap you.
there was a trailer for that movie that his voice was even crazier. They definitely dialed it back for the movie, and I kind of didn't appreciate it. I liked the original Bane voice even more, but I digress. I also think that Christopher Nolan got some shit for that movie he shouldn't have gotten, because he did have Heath Ledger die on him, right? Like, come on, that movie should have been better. But whatever. I digress. I like
Yeah,
the Bad Boys.
yeah, but yeah, it's a good one. So yes, Couchers, the album's out September the 12th. If you like angry, aggressive music to the point, like check out Motherless. I'll put the link. So until next time, Couchers, and obviously Stavros, uh, thank you again from joining me from Chicago to Puerto Rico.
Yes, thank you.
This is Hector, the Shield Dude on a couch, and I'll see you all right here on the couch. Thank you and goodbye.